A very good morning to you and welcome to the AM News on Global TV, Star Times Channel 276. We'll take a quick break, and when we do come back, we'll bring you the news in full. Do stay with us.
On these small tasks with consistency. The only way to fail is to stay right where you are. So build your own small.
Apologize for that break. It was due to some technical. Good morning once again and welcome to the AM News coming to you from Global TV Abuja. I'm Kemi Ashekun. The Senate has approved the request of President Bola Tinubu to appoint 20 special advisors. President Tinubu's request was read on Tuesday by the President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan. The upper legislative chamber gave speedy approval of the request, saying it was of utmost urgency. The development came days after President Tinubu announced the appointment of Femi Gbajabiamila, outgoing Speaker of the House of Representatives, as his Chief of Staff, and Senator George Akume, former Minister of Special Duties, as Secretary to the Government of the Federation. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed by 5 residents of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, who prayed to the court to halt the inauguration of Bola Tinubu as president. The 5 applicants, Ayegbunam Okoye, David Adza, Jeffrey Uche, Osang Paul, and Chibuike Nwachukwu, identified themselves as registered voters of the FCT. They urged the court to stop the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, and or any other authority or person or persons from swearing in any candidate in the February 25th presidential election as president or vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court has stopped the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Department of State Services, DSS, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, from detaining former governor of Zamfara State, Governor Abdulaziz Yari, pending the hearing and determination of the motion. And notice, Justice Donatus Okorowo gave the order in a ruling he delivered on an ex parte motion. The judge ordered the respondents EFCC, ICPC, and DSS to show cause in the next adjourned date on why the prayers sought on the motion ex parte should not be granted. The matter was adjourned to the 8th of June for the respondents to show cause. 4 witnesses appeared at the tribunal for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the ongoing presidential election petitions tribunal in Abuja. The witnesses in their testimony said there were widespread irregularities and non-compliance to the electoral guidelines during the presidential election, which they acted as state collation and agents, chief collation officers in their respective states. Giving his witness testimony in court, Abiye Sekibo from Ukrika local government of Rivers State claimed the results were not uploaded on the beavers in his polling unit and others in his local government. Global TV's Akbar Sandra completes the story.
Sekibo explained that about 20 polling units had the same issues according to the information he got. In a separate testimony, Ibrahim Mohammed from Nasarawa State and Mohammed Babaji Madaki said they were made to sign the E4OD. They claim that the one they showed them in court have been tampered with. Also, Abraham Daniel says Atiku Abubakar also has the right to become the president. So far, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not have the required 25% votes from FCT. Meanwhile, Labour Party also presented Form EC8A from 8 states which were adopted by the panel, while the respondents object to it and reserve their comments on it.
We have already tendered our documents as the petitioners. So this is the process of calling oral evidence in support of the documents we've already tendered. Yesterday we called a number of witnesses. Today we've called another set of witnesses. And as we progress, as the days unfold, We'll continue to call witnesses as the case may be.
It is the law that should have got 25% of FCT to be declared president. So generally, the thrust of our case today was that INEC was hasty and wrong in declaring Tinubu the winner of the elections.
The court, after listening to the witness testimony of the People's Democratic Party and that of Labour Party, witnessed through documents presentation, further adjourned sitting to Tuesday, 6th of June 2023 for continuation of hearing. Akpasandra reporting for Global Television.
Chief of Staff to former President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, has handed over to his successor, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The handover, which took place at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, following the announcement of Honorable Gbajabiamila as Chief of Staff to the President Bola Tinubu last Friday. The event, which was caught on a muted video clip, also featured President Tinubu coming in after the handing over to pose for a photo session with the duo. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has received in audience former governors of Rivers and Ebonyi States, Nyesom Wike and David Umahi, respectively, as well as Senator Godswill Akpabio, the All Progressives Congress, APC's preferred candidate for the Senate presidency. This is the second time the former Rivers State governor will be visiting the president since President Tinubu's inauguration about a week ago. While the agenda for the visit is unclear, it may not be unconnected with the leadership of the 10th National Assembly that will be inaugurated this month. Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has demanded payment of a minimum wage of 200,000 monthly and the federal government's reverts to the pump price of 185 naira of petrol. We'll take a break on the news and we'll bring you more.
Speaking to State House correspondents after a meeting between the federal government and the TUC, which lasted for about 3 hours, the spokesperson for the federal government, Dele Alake, said that it will also look at the practicability of the demands. Among things the government is considering is tax holidays for workers. Alake said that most fundamentally, President Bola Tinubu will constitute a tripartite committee to include state and organized labor and the private sector to study the dynamics of the minimum wage augmentation to reach an amicable conclusion.
The most important is the minimum wage, that is increase of minimum wage, because when this thing is removed, the argument of labor is that there is an immediate impact on the workers, on the purchasing power, because price of fuel has gone up. So that would necessarily reduce the purchasing power of the average worker. So the next thing of immediate consequence is to increase the purchasing power of the worker. And so that, to me and to all of us on this side, is the topmost priority on the list. There are other things like the tax holidays, which will be some categories of workers will be beneficiaries.
According to Alake, there is no disagreement with the Nigeria Labour Congress over their demand for a review of the minimum wage or a return to the status quo, noting that the federal government representatives will meet with the president to crystallize decisions on the demands. He added that the absence of the NLC does not translate to an isolation of the group in the discussion, but that the federal government is making efforts to reach them as the parties agree to reconvene on Tuesday, 24 hours before a scheduled strike by the NLC.
We are making efforts to reach NLC. We all agreed that we were going to meet here, but again, in this game, there are dynamics. Sometimes they could be meeting with their own executive and not able to meet with us, or they could want to postpone, or they have not actually articulated their own list of demands as the TUC. But we cannot second guess why they're not here. But efforts are being made to reach them.
Meanwhile, the TUC has maintained that the federal government, in the interest of social dialogue, revert the price of fuel while discussions continue.
When they presented the items to us on Wednesday, we told them that we're going back to our principals. So that they also need to touch base with Mr. President so that we will convene this meeting again on Tuesday. So we've, and topmost in our demand was clearly stated as well that for utmost good faith and in the interest of social dialogue, that they should revert back the pump price while discussion continues.
Tessie Otung reporting for Global TV.
Welcome back. Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured other African countries that Nigeria will actively participate and provide leadership in the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. The Vice President gave these assurance at a stakeholders engagement meeting held by the African Continental Free Trade Area, saying that Nigeria's participation will enable it to harness the vast opportunities available and enhance its position as a key player in the African market. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of National Action Committee on the AfCFTA, Olusegun Awolowo, underscored the crucial role of the agreement in stimulating intra-African trade, thereby driving economic growth and uplifting the lives of the millions of individuals across the continent. African leaders seeking to broker peace in the Ukraine war are set to launch their mission in mid-June. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa last month said Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had each agreed to receive a 6-member African peace team. The African leaders agreed that they would engage Putin and Zelensky on the elements for a ceasefire and lasting peace in the region. A statement from Ramaphosa's office said foreign ministers from the respective countries will finalize the elements of a roadmap to peace. The presidency said the delegation comprises the presidents of the Republic of Congo, Egypt, Senegal, South Africa, Uganda, and Zambia. African countries have been badly hit by the rising prices of grain and the war's impact on world trade. The Democratic Republic of Congo's government says 10 of its citizens have died after their university campus was attacked in airstrikes in Sudan's capital, Khartoum. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said that it had learnt with deep dismay the killing of its citizens at the International University of Africa. Minister Christophe Lutundula said there were indications that the airstrikes were carried out by the regular army on an area occupied by civilian and unarmed populations, including foreign nationals who were seriously wounded, other compatriots. The minister said the government was waiting for the Sudanese authorities to shed more light about the incident. DR Congo's government has called for a humanitarian corridor to enable it to evacuate its wounded citizens and others still stranded in Khartoum, Sudan's capital. Meanwhile, dozens of Kenyans have moved against the... We'll take a quick... Some of the government's proposed measures to impose new or higher taxes on items including fuel. One of the key contested measures in the unpopular finance bill is a new 3% housing funding levy all salaried workers to increase value-added tax on fuel to 16%. The bill also calls for taxes on beauty products, cryptocurrencies and earnings by social media influencers. They are among the measures that have been opposed by many Kenyans. Local media reported that some of the protesters were arrested. Legislators are set to debate the bill on Thursday amid warnings issued by President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua against those opposed to the proposals. A huge dam in the Russian-controlled area of southern Ukraine has been destroyed, unleashing a flood of water to Ukraine. Military has accused Russia of blowing up the dam, while Russian officials have blamed the Ukrainians. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said there was no immediate nuclear safety risk. However, European Union Chief Charles Michel on Tuesday expressed shock at the attack on Ukraine's Nova Kakhovka dam and pledged to hold Russia accountable for the war crime of destroying civilian infrastructure. And now to sports. A brace from 20-year-old Enzo Milot was enough to secure VfB Stuttgart a new chapter in the Bundesliga as they defeated Hamburg SV 3-1 in the SEC. For the relegation to round off on 6-1 aggregate victory, Hamburg faced an Herculean task at Wolfsburg as they attempted to overcome a 3-0 deficit from the first leg by pulling one goal early from Sonny Kittel's goal 6 minutes into the game. A brace from Media 2 minutes into the second half, and another goal in the 64th minute confirmed Hamburg, who suffered their first ever relegation from the Bundesliga in 2018, will spend another season in the second tier of the German Bundesliga. Enigmatic Swede Zlatan Ibrahimovic has decided to call time on a trophy-laden career that saw him representing Malmo, Ajax, Juventus, Inter Milan, Barcelona, PSG, United and the LA Galaxy, and winning the league titles in the Netherlands, Spain, France and Italy. According to across his 24 years in professional football, scoring 511 goals in 866 club games as well as 62 in 122. The striker, whose AC Milan contract expires at the end of June, was all teary before Milan fans as they played their final game of the season against Hellas Verona at the San Siro on Sunday. Following an injury-plagued season, the ex-Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain star made just 4 appearances in all competitions in the just-concluded campaign and last featured against Udinese on the 18th of March. It is not yet known what lies in store for the legendary attacker. However, it's safe to say that he won't be jumping into the dugout anytime soon. We'll take a look at tennis as Iga Swiatek eased into the quarterfinals of the French Open after a lengthy stoppage time to check the blood pressure of her opponent Lesia Surenko. 5 games into the match, Surenko, who only returned to court, bowed out on health basis. Well, number 1, Iga Swiatek is off to a quarterfinal match with Coco Gauff in a match of last year's French Open final after opponent Lesia Surenko retired, trailing 5-1 in the first set. And that's it on the AM News on Global TV from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Star Times channel 276. And you can follow us across our social media platforms at Global TV NG. Thank you for watching. I'm Kemi Ashekun. Global Morning with Uyi begins shortly. Good morning and stay with Global TV.